Well, good morning. Welcome to our first conference, Just Sustainability for Seattle University. It's great to have you all here today. I'm Phil Thompson, the director of the Center for Environmental Justice and Sustainability. I want to thank you all for coming here today. It's great to see you all. You've come from a long way, many of you, and it's because you want to share your work and your passion for environmental justice and sustainability. Of the 225 attendees that we have here today, we have representatives from 17 countries and 25 states. One of our goals for this conference was to build a dialogue between Jesuit universities and institutions. And I'm happy to report that 25% of you are from Jesuit institutions. And there are 11 schools represented from around the world here today. I want to extend my sincere thanks to our sponsors, the Bullitt Foundation, the United States Environmental Protection Agency Region 10, Puget Sound Energy, the University of Loyola Chicago, and Yes Magazine. How about a round of applause for our sponsors? I would also like to thank our staff at the Center for Environmental Justice and Sustainability, Karen Price, Caitlin Hammond, Toby Meyer, and all the volunteers for helping put this conference together. I especially want to thank our program coordinator, Mike Scott, for his tireless efforts and for tackling all the details that make this a wonderful conference for all of us. Let's give a big hand for all of them. I also want to thank Seattle University for launching the Center for Environmental Justice and Sustainability 17 months ago. The idea for the center came from the faculty. Dr. Cynthia Molabita, Jen Sorensen, Gordon Miller, Carl Obermiller, and myself. When we began developing this plan for the center, our vision was to have the center be a leading voice in the Pacific Northwest and to have our scholars shape regional and national environmental justice and sustainability policies with big ideas backed by action. We hope that our big ideas and actions will be coupled with a positive message. We aren't going to wag our fingers at you and tell you how to behave. We aren't going to wring our hands about the future. We will lead by example. We want to connect people to positive emotions and bring hope by highlighting the amazing things that are being done to change the world. I don't have time to tell you about all of our efforts, so for now, let me just say that the center is supporting research in urban agriculture, alternative energy, forestry management, and of course, environmental education. Which brings me to the conference, where so many of you will be sharing your research and your stories about bringing meaningful change to your communities. Over these next couple of days, as you listen and learn, I hope you will consider your call to action. How will you contribute to reforming the power structure of our society so that it is less focused on consumption and money and more focused on the well-being of others, including non-humans and the earth itself? In our closing session tomorrow afternoon, Dr. David Corton and Father Pedro Walpole will be discussing how we can reframe such a vision. So when you think about environmental justice and sustainability, what gives you pause? What brings you hope? In a moment, our panelists will reflect on these questions. What gives me pause? Sometimes I feel as though we are living out the story of the Lorax in real time. We are the Lorax, and we are a society on a freight train going 100 miles an hour in the wrong direction. What gives me hope? There are still many people who are willing to stand up to corporatism and greed, such as our very own Seattle University students who are fighting for divestment. I'm also hopeful because there are still so many people who are concerned about the well-being of others. Like this guy, who's in the audience. Here's a more recent picture of Dr. Craig Just from the University of Iowa, who gave an excellent workshop yesterday, as I'm sure many of you will attest. 10 years ago, this coming December, will be the anniversary for the kidney donation that Craig gave to me. So Craig, I'm sorry, but if I have a mic and you're in the room, I am going to embarrass you. I've had 10 amazing years of good health, and I've had a chance to watch these two guys grow up. So it's all because of you, thanks. So to kick off this great day ahead of us and a beautiful Friday in Seattle, it's my honor to introduce our panelists. Each will speak for a few minutes, and then we will open up the floor to questions. So please be thinking of your questions. Father Hug, I'm looking at you. Since we have their biographies online, please forgive these abbreviated introductions. I'll do all the introductions right now, and then the speakers will come up individually, and then we'll have our panel discussion. Sarah Augustine is the co-director of Suriname Indigenous Health Fund, a private international charity, and she's an assistant professor of sociology at Heritage University, where she is also the director of student spirituality. Sarah advocates for the rights of indigenous peoples and is working within an international ecumenical movement to dismantle the doctrine of discovery and to build a solidarity movement among people of faith, promoting dialogue with resource extractive industries and multilateral financial institutions. The focus of her scholarship is in community-directed research and intervention and public engagement in science. A trained mediator, the focus of her practice is in group conflict, transformation, community engagement, and racial justice. A veteran of many decades of legislative, cultural, and courtroom battles, the author of numerous books and articles, and the recipient of numerous environmental awards, Dennis Hayes is probably best known for having been national coordinator for the first Earth Day when he was 25. Like Shirley Temple and Miley Cyrus, he says, I peaked way too early. Now as president of the Bullitt Foundation, Dennis leads an effort to mold the cities of the Pacific Northwest into a global model of urban sustainability, as exemplified by the Bullitt Center, the world's greenest commercial building, which many of you toured yesterday. Next spring, W.W. Norton will publish his new book, co-authored with his wife, Cowed, The Hidden Impact of 93 Million Cows on America's Health, Economy, Politics, Culture, and Environment. Ephanis Henderson is president and CEO of HenderWorks Incorporated. He recently retired after a 40-year career at Weyerhaeuser, where he served as chief diversity officer. In this role, he advised the CEO and senior management on diversity, inclusion, and affirmative action-related matters. A recipient of numerous awards, Ephanis is an internationally recognized diversity thought leader and has provided advisory support on diversity to the US EPA, US Forest Service, State Department, and the United Nations General Assembly. Bill McKibben, who's joining us, everybody can see you. Hey, Bill, is the author of The End of Nature, which is widely regarded as the first book for a general audience about climate change. He is founder of 350.org, the first planet-wide grassroots climate change movement. A recipient of numerous environmental awards, Bill is currently the Schumann Distinguished Scholar in Environmental Studies at Middlebury College and a fellow of the American Academy of Arts and Sciences. Please help me welcome our guests.